Welcome to Bariatric Business Accelerator, the podcast created for busy weight loss practitioners and their teams who want to systematize, simplify, and accelerate the growth of their new or existing weight loss practice. I'm your host, Carol Clark, and I am bringing to you today a topic that's so important in healthcare today, and that is 4 ways to increase business resilience in your weight loss practice. Resilience is something that is so necessary from a personal perspective and from a business perspective, and trying to help keep your team resilient as changes just keep coming at us. And there's always something new going on, which is exciting, but at the same time, it can really derail some of our progress, and it can also create confusion in terms of what the right next step is. And so we have to have almost like some contingencies in place in order to help improve the resilience of our practice. So the first one is to diversify revenue streams. I always want you to have your main offer that you have. Make sure that's fully dialed in, but then you can diversify in other revenue streams. Physicians are bombarded nowadays with so many different options on how to add revenue into their practice. We've got weight loss surgeons, we've got medical weight loss practitioners who are incorporating GLP-1s with insurance, and also some from compounding. We also have aesthetics coming into the mix. We have nutrition retail sales, whether on site or through an e-store. We've got so many different things. You may have a relationship with a fitness company, but you want to diversify some of your revenue streams. Some of the other ones that I've helped people set up that have been helpful for lots of different reasons is one may be an online course or a program that you actually sell as a membership in your practice. That's another one that you can add in. Retail sales is one that I always work with a lot. Aesthetics, we've been doing a fair amount. Hormone replacement therapy is another one that's come into play. There's a lot of different ones, but we want to make sure that you pick a model and that you have someone who's responsible for it. There's lots of things to follow for that, but diversifying your revenue streams is one of the great ways to help build resilience for your practice. Many of us found this out that during the pandemic, that was very helpful as well. So that's the first thing. The second one is to implement very robust financial management for your practice. So I am all about the finances in your practice. You've got to know your numbers. We've got to be tracking. We need to be interpreting them, and we need to be acting upon them. So we want to make sure that we've got a good budget in place so that we know what our spending limits are and that we know what we're going to be expecting from a revenue perspective and an expense. And it helps make us more resilient when those things that we're not anticipating tend to come up. So we want to have a good budget. We want to have cost management. We want to be tracking our expenses. Where can we consolidate? Where can we improve or lower our expenses? We want to make sure we're monitoring that. And then we also want to be developing and building an emergency fund. It's just like in your home. You always like to make sure that you have an emergency fund that's set aside for when those surprises come into play. So we want to make sure that we're tracking all of this. So your financial system, it has to be robust. It's got to be something that is in place. That's really important for resiliency. The third one is to leverage technology, and technology can help simplify so many things with aspects of your team. You want to look at your EHR. We want to see, can we consolidate so that we're not having so many different systems to manage. Telemedicine is another platform. If you've got that right in your system, I've got my favorite systems for sure. If you want to know what they are, reach out to me. But there are so many ways to make this really simple for you and for your team. And also, of course, data analytics from your marketing. Any money that you're spending, we want to make sure that you are marketing and the revenue that you have coming in is a positive return on investment so that it helps to justify that marketing spend. We don't want to be spending money, obviously, on things that aren't working. So leveraging technology can be really helpful. AI has been a very important aspect of leveraging technology as well. So we want to incorporate that where it makes sense for your practice. That's the third one. The fourth one is fostering a strong team. So your team is the backbone of your practice. I don't need to tell you that. Having a good, efficient team in place. I go into practices and they may just have 1 or 2 people, and I'm like, how are they even functioning with just this small of a staff? but they are dynamos, and they are, very integral part of the team, and they've been cross-trained. There's lots of efficiencies in place. Then I go into practices that have a boatload of people, and it's like nobody really, there's so much overlap. There's a bit of waste in that. We want to make sure that we've got that perfect scenario for your practice going on. So you want to make sure that your team is engaged, that they are, you have all the team development things in place from an onboarding perspective and ongoing training. We want to have a positive work environment. We want them to enjoy coming to work, and it's not a doldrum sort of a place. We want to make sure that we understand what motivates them and that we are putting all those things into place. And then we also want to take a peek at our staff's well-being, staying in tune with when there are issues coming up, making sure that you're able to address that, and that they know that you do care. That first line supervisor is so critical to keeping people on your team that you want on your team, and lowering that churn and that turnover. We want to avoid that, because that's a waste of money. Unless it's somebody who shouldn't be there in the first place because they're not a good fit for one way or the other, one reason or another. So anyhow, those are my 4 top ways to build resilience into your practice. So it's diversifying your revenue streams, implementing robust financial management systems, leveraging your technology, and then making sure that you have a well-developed, awesome team in your practice. So those are my tips for today, and I've got a treat coming up soon. I've got a couple of guests that are going to be on the podcast soon, so looking forward to that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and make sure you're on my newsletter. I send out all sorts of great things, and you can sign up for that and get other free resources at weightlosspracticebuilder.com. In the meantime, take care.